Hi guys. That whenever I feel a bit stressed out, a bit under the weather, a bit overwhelmed, I just play with flour. I just bake. So today we are making jam squares. I'll quickly run you through the ingredients, so that in the meantime, before we start baking, you can go get your ingredients and we can do this together. You get 3 cups of flour, 3 teaspoons of baking powder. I have here about 3 heaped spoons of margarine. I have 1 cup of sugar. You can use white sugar, you can use brown sugar. I use brown sugar because I like brown sugar. You can use powdered sugar, your caster sugar. You can use any sugar that you like. I have a cup here. I have jam. This is mixed berries jam, because if you are to make jam squares, you need jam. I have 1 egg here, because we're trying to minimize on the liquids. It must not be runny, because we are making something to the liking of a cookie here. So 1 egg. We have vanilla essence. I think this is about 2 spoons of vanilla essence. Sorry, I wasn't counting because I love the smell of vanilla essence. But yeah, so those are the ingredients that you need. Quickly grab yours so that we can do this together. So let's do this, right? So we're going to take the 1 cup of sugar. I have my dish here. We take the 1 cup of sugar. We add the sugar. Okay, my wooden spoon. Okay, so we need to cream this. So to cream it, you would have melted your butter or your margarine. So I melted it. So this is what I'm gonna do with my melted margarine, and I add it to my sugar. Then I give everything a dibana, you mix everything together. Yeah, it looks good, it looks fine, it looks perfect. That is how it's looking. That is your sugar and your margarine. One thing about baking, you should always guard against over mixing. That's it. And then we take the 1 egg, we add our egg. We just mix everything together. Now we have the sugar, we have the margarine, we have the egg. Now we're going to add vanilla essence. Okay, so we're adding vanilla essence. We are now going to add our 3 teaspoons of baking powder to the flour. You can just, that's 1. Oh, it's not heaped enough, but it's okay. That's 2. And 3. Okay, we have our 3 baking powder. So you just do this to make sure that the baking powder goes into the flour. It would have been nice if I had done this in a bigger dish, and just mixed everything together before I started, but time is of essence, my dear. We don't have time, so yeah. And then you're going to add your flour. Your hands are clean, right? You never bake with dirty hands or unwashed hands. So your hands are clean. So if you need to use your hands, you will use your hands. Because remember, we are making a cookie dough here. So It need not run. It need to be that kind of a dough, you know. So if you know, you know. If you don't understand what upuqeka is, send me a message. I'll break it down to you. Okay, we are mixing this. Let's add the rest of the flour. Okay, cool. So, to get the good texture that I need, I'm going to use my hands. Okay. So I start doing this with my hands to make sure that the flour, everything gets together nicely. Now we are going to work this dough so that we are able to put it flat on a pan and be able to put some jam. Okay, so you will mix your flour into your wet ingredients until it becomes the texture and the consistency that you want. Remember, we said we don't want a running batter. We want something that we can make cookies out of, and this is what we have. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to separate this in two parts. I'm going to take 3/4 of this and leave 1/4. So let's say that's 1/4. I'm leaving this here, putting it aside, and I'm going to use this 3/4. So I have 1/4 and 3/4 of this. So this is what I'm going to do. I have my pan already greased, and I'm going to lay these 3/4 on here. Okay, so if it was possible, I would just roll it, but getting a roller on this is a bit of a mission. So I do this. So I just flatten it to the base of the baking tray. Nicely, 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 applying myself to make sure that I spread it across evenly, because you don't want a tart that has an uneven base at the end of the day, right? So yeah, remember, jam squares are tarts. So this is what we're going to do. We're laying it nicely, and it is lying nicely. I'll show you just now the last, how it should be looking, you know. Something similar. May not be the same, yours may even be better, but this is what we are looking for. Cool, we've got it. So this is what we're looking for, you see. And now that it's sitting like that, then remember, we have the jam. Now we need to spread the jam. This is the most interesting part, and this is what makes this tart or these squares what they are, the jam. So you just spread the jam all over it, across it, everywhere. Be generous with your jam, and especially if you went that generous with your sugar. If you weren't that generous with your sugar, this is your chance to make sure that you are now generous with your jam, because this is supposed to be sweet. Okay, so that is your jam. We are now going to take this last part. We're going to grate it, you know, like you grating cheese, grate it across, then yeah, you'll be ready to bake. So you grate it, you grate the last quarter that you had left on the side, you grate it right across your base to make sure that you cover as much of the jam as you can. But don't worry, if you can't, it will still be covered for as long as you try your best to cover it. That's how it should look like before it goes into the oven. So now I'm gonna put it in the oven and bake it for 15 to 20 minutes at depending at the heat of your oven. But for a normal oven, that should be 15 to 20 minutes and at 180 degrees Celsius. So this is our end results. You see how good it looks. Yeah, those are your gem tarts or your gem squares. Just take something. I always use the spatula, and then you just cut it. I'm not gonna cut it now because it's hot. You let it cool down, then you just cut it into squares, then you're done. Enjoy. And while baking, if you have any questions pertaining to this and any of the ingredients I used, please direct message me. I do not have a problem. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. If you have any recommendation, anything that you'd like me to try, please reach out, share, comment, share that with me so that we can try it together. Please share the link, subscribe, keep liking. See you next time.